so we haven't got the feedback problem.
Sounds good.
As long as this works, you know, this is almost our oldest electronic technology, and about a third of the time it doesn't work. Yeah. As you may have noticed in your job, these are brand new, but that doesn't guarantee anything.
What are those batteries?
That's good.
Check the batteries, they make no white batteries.
Sounds all right. But I wouldn't like hold it down here either. Just somewhere, anywhere around the torso area. Is there anything else you need?
The people in the far corners of the room to come much closer, because it's simply harder emotionally to focus on the audience with such empty spaces. If you'd all come and kind of gather, then it'll be, as the Dutch say, gezellig, which means cozy. But that means that the people just coming in, if you could just move really close, and down front too is be nice. Kind of stay away from the edges. You people are, if you could move in a bit, that'd be nice. That'd be very good. And then I'll have a nice compact audience, and I'll be able to react to you emotionally in a more interesting way. It would make for a much better. That's better. That's much better. Thank you very much. That's helpful. Also, if the mic fails, as in about a third of the occasions they do, not here, but in my experience, then we'll be okay still. He says he has a backup, so that's even better.
I will allow Dr. O'Connor to introduce this speaker, but I'd like to mention that on April 2nd, Gatewood Galbraith, the last free man in America, will be speaking. Gatewood is famous in Kentucky, for those of you who are not from Kentucky, as being pro-hemp, pro-pot, and pro-gun, and pro-freedom. And I bumped into him in a library or in a mailroom, and he was happy to come.
Tonight's speaker, Chautauqua speaker, was trained as an economist at Harvard, then worked on economic history, studying the problem that all serious economic historians seem to work on, namely the Industrial Revolution in Britain, and did very distinguished work on that. Is embarked on a major project. I think when I last talked to her, it was a 3-volume effort. It has now become a 6-volume effort. And she's going to talk tonight on that topic, namely the Bourgeois Virtues. So I give you Professor Deirdre McCloskey.
Thank you very much. Frank and I were colleagues for a while at Iowa, a long time ago, although not that long ago, just a few years ago. I have a speech defect. I stutter, as you just noticed. So you have your choice. It's a free country. If you can't adjust to it, you can run screaming from the room. I won't mind. I'm an economist, as Frank noted by training, but I would like to quote my favorite comedian, Mae West, the big blonde, as she called herself. And she said, I was Snow White, but I drifted. I was Snow White, but I drifted. So I've drifted beyond economics, but I don't think away from economics in one sense. I still think economics is a very nice field, and I urge all you people majoring in it to stay majoring. If you haven't taken a course in economics, for God's sakes, what's wrong with you? Go take a course in economics. I mean, after all, how else you can understand this horrible crisis we're in and all that sort of thing? But I do think, as I didn't when I was a kid, that economics really needs to be put in a larger context. As the sociologists say, and I think they're correct, I spent half of my career arguing against them, but now I think they're correct, that the economy is, as they say, embedded. Think of flowers in a flower bed. The flowers by themselves would be very strange without the earth around them. Why don't you borrow a pen from someone else? That's a much better plan. Let's have the pen borrowed and we'll carry on. I don't think that economics by itself works very well. I don't think it's always wrong. I think if you're going to think about covered interest arbitrage in the foreign exchange market, then you'd better know some economics, and it had better be of a rather simple sort that deals mainly with the virtue of prudence, the virtue of know-how, the virtue of what the French call savoir-faire, what the Greeks called phronesis, practical knowledge. And if you do that, then you'll understand the foreign exchange market. At least you'll understand covered interest arbitrage, whatever that is. I don't need to go into it, in the foreign exchange market. But for a lot of what economists and other people are interested in, you need much more than economics. The great English economist John Maynard Keynes said that to be a good economist, you need to be more than an economist, and I certainly agree with that. Furthermore, the advantage of being in 4 academic departments is they don't ever know where I am. So I can be shopping in the old Marshall Fields now, alarmingly called Macy's. And they say, well, you know, I think she's in the English department. No, maybe she's over in communication. I don't know where she is. I can't keep track of her. So that's good. Now this, well, no, let's see, it's 2009. I'm a historian, so I think 1909 makes more sense. But it's 2009, so for about 18 years, I've been thinking about this topic of this evening's lecture, called Bourgeois Virtue. Now let's talk about these terms for a while. Bourgeois is the French word for townsperson, townsman in particular. The bourgeoise is a townswoman. And you've heard of the bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie there, that just means the class of townspeople. That's what it originally meant in French. And there are very comparable words from the same root in Germanic languages or other Romance languages. Burger in German, or borghese in Italian. They all come from the same root, meaning townsperson.